Hi everybody, Amazing Zane here, back with another video. First off, I'd like to say thank you so much for getting me to 200 subscribers. I appreciate the support from each and every one of you, and I'm considering this video as the 200 subscriber special. Today's video is going to be a little different than others, as I'll be taking a trip down memory lane and reviewing old LEGO Mocs I made as a kid. These were all made in LEGO Digital Designer, but we'll be viewing them in Bricklink Studio thanks to a feature they recently added where you could transfer LDD files to Studio. Unfortunately, all printed pieces had to be reset, which took a while for me. I'm going to be ranking these Mocs out of 10 based on building techniques, Mach concept, and how well the concept aged, meaning it gets a higher ranking if LEGO actually made something similar to it. If you do enjoy the video, please be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into it! Alright, so here's the first Mach that we're looking at, and this is actually supposed to be based on the Firestone mech, and I remember making a lot of these Mocs as a kid, just seeing images of the Firestone mech, and I'd been watching Hero Factory on YouTube at the time, and I thought it would be interesting to sort of recreate the Firestone mech in the Hero Factory format, so that's what I did here. Didn't really thought these would represent boulders, and I used the old Bionicle Tahoe mask. I ended up making a lot of Hero Factory Mocs on LEGO Digital Designer, so here's like a little Cole minifigure right here. Alright, I give this 8 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's still pretty good. I feel like these pieces could be swapped out for something else. And the weapons on the back here are kind of glaring. Here's another Firestone Mach. This one's a little similar with the split face mask right here, and it's also pretty cool. It's pretty much the same as the last one, so this one's also getting an 8 out of 10. And here is when I built the, oh yeah, this was fun to build. I remember watching the Hero Factory series and built 1.0 versions of all of the heroes. I remember they didn't have armor pieces for bulk or stringers, so I had to reuse the shoulder pads for Stormer, the armor. So that's all pretty good. But what the real interesting thing was I ended up making 1.0 designs for Nex, Evo, and Raka, who were the second set of heroes that the theme introduced, and I think these all looked pretty cool. It's an interesting concept, but considering how little I had access to the actual parts, I'm only going to give it a 7 out of 10. And then this one you guys are probably going to hate me for. Hero Factory Among Us minifigures. I remember finding the Invasion from Below helmets in LEGO Digital Designer and just decided to put them on make the Among Us crewmates out of them. And also gave a little kit for the imposter with the sabotage board, the knife, and a bunch of bones. I mean, it's a pretty interesting concept, but 7 out of 10. Now this one was actually inspired by a set that I ended up getting, which was the Breakout Furno set, and I think I actually tried to build this one in real life. It's mostly based on it, except for this trans-orange armor. But everything else, like the sword and the helmet, that's all based on this Mach I built. So 9 out of 10, because this one's really special to me. Alright, here's some Ninjago Mocs I did. Now this one was one that I really started but never finished, and it was a Mach of Borg Tower, if you're wondering why the steps are so small, and this is like normal minifigure size. I think my original plan as a kid was to make this entire thing nanofig scaled, but I made this really tall to convey how big the lobby was. However, I think I eventually gave up on it because I was trying to use hinge plates to form the shape, and I just could never figure out how to do it, so I just gave up on it. I like the way I use it all the windows though, but since I never finished it, I'm only giving this one a 4 out of 10. And next here's the Prime Empire drone, which I remember I watched a lot of Sam's Brick Lab back in the day, and that's what sort of inspired me to make this. It's a pretty interesting build, and I like the way I integrated the stud shooter in there. Really accurate to the show. Kind of wish Lego made like a poly bag for this, and there's also the energy cube there. I feel like this one actually might be our first 10 out of 10, so yeah, yay me. This is pretty fun. This one isn't really anything too special. On the other hand, it's just a little thing I made for the Prime Empire arcade cabinet, and it's just like 9270. Yeah, this is just what it looks like when it's closed, and yeah, it's just something I did for funsies after seeing the arcade pods, because I thought it's still super duper tall, but I thought this felt more minifigure scale. I'll give it a 5 out of 10 though. It's kind of plain. Now I believe that this was the first thing that I made when I got Lego Digital Designer. Was a motorcycle Mach I built for this Sons of Garmadon figure I got from a poly bag. I think it was Scooter, and he came with these 2 roller skates which you can put on the back. I remember I found some pieces from this Lego Batman movie, this Catwoman motorcycle set, which I also used, so this was a lot of fun to build both digitally and real life. And so I think the rockets are kind of weird though, but 9 out of 10. Now, if you've been a long-time viewer of mine, you might actually recognize this mock from one of my older videos, and this was a mock-up I built in Lego Digital Designer for how I would have improved Wojira, because the actual set had one amulet down here and no place to put the other, but I ended up finding a way to place both amulets on Wojira's head. I remember this, using the Atlantis keys for the amulet since the mold didn't exist, and this was meant to represent the Friends coral piece. Unfortunately, didn't recognize a lot of the pieces I used for Nia, so that's a little unfortunate. This one actually might be another 10 out of 10. I'm proud of myself for how I was able to work with the parts that were available in LDD, and I just really like this. So yeah, 10 out of 10. This one was a really fun one, which I almost considered making its entirely separate video. But this was a Ninjago CMF series I had conceived after watching Noah R do the same thing. There are a lot of YouTubers that inspired me to do this. And like I said in the intro, a lot of the prints got reset. I just forgot to do them. But this one was the original design. Some of the figures got changed around, like Racer 7, Fuji Doves here. And you just got Bartender Dareth. But surprisingly, this idea that I had actually aged surprisingly well. You can see from all the transparent clear minifigures, these are all the figures that Lego would eventually go on to make, like Mechanic, Camille, Cyrus Borg, Blacksmith Kai, Gravis, Balobo, Jacob, Bartender Dareth. There are a few that I don't really think Lego would make in this day and age, like Anacondri Skylar. This is meant to be Lloyd in Skybound when he ended up turning old, which I really don't think Lego would do, since it would just be changing the head and maybe the hairpiece. A young Garmadon, Rocky Danger Buff, and Baby Woo. This is actually one I really hope they make, along with a lot of the SOG characters like Casual Harumi, along with Oni Mastake. But yeah, I kind of really predicted the future with this series, so I'm going to give this one 9 out of 10, just because I feel like it aged super well, and a lot of the figures are either easy to make with pre-existing pieces or Lego already made. So yeah, 9 out of 10. I'm really proud of this one. Next up, we've got some more city-specific ones. These were based on stuff which I thought that Lego City would have made, like this barbecue party set, and these burgers are based on the way they designed the burgers in the Burger Bar Fire Rescue set, which I also made a stop motion animation for. It's actually my most popular video now, so thanks again for the support on that. Then you got 4 plates and ketchup and mustard. The barbecue, which I actually spent a lot of time designing here. You just open it up like that. And the seat, the table, I think I made it so that you can detach the table. Yeah, just you got some jumpers down there, and seats can flip up to sort of fold it. And then you got a family of 4. So now that I think about it, a lot of the accessories look more like something from Lego Friends, and I don't think they'd put this many food accessories or knives in one set. So I'm giving this a 6 out of 10 because I also feel like I could have done better on the tablecloth here. Now this one's actually one that I really like. I think this was one of my first LDD modulars that I made, which was the Bricksburg clock set, inspired by the Lego movie. So let's just hide all the roof panels here to get access to the top floor, which is a representation of Emmett's apartment. We got him asleep in there. There's a door to the elevator which goes all the way down there. I think I based this elevator off of the one in a Carbonite Star Wars set. And then you got Planty and Emmett's couch and old TV and a kitchen area. I really like the way I did this kitchen area. I had to make a nougat drain for the waffle piece since the waffle print that Lego actually made also didn't exist. I forgot what that gold bar was supposed to be though. But the inside, there's a bunch of interesting stuff here as well. Like if I just hide all the panels, you'll see that I've got the little clock shop here, which of course has big wall of alarm clocks and stuff. Giant grandfather clock. Oh, I forgot to do these prints for the clocks. Oh well. And then you got a little newspaper on the wall. Customer, store worker. This sign was actually really hard to do. I was trying to do it like they did with a lot of the modular buildings, but I think it came out all right. And then this other thing was sort of a fun one. I remember these are supposed to be the time blades, but since the time blade mold doesn't exist in Bricklink Studio, I had to use these shredder claws. But I think the idea was that I like power functions box, which figures could activate to spin the sign, which sounded like a cool concept to me as a kid, but I don't really think it makes a lot of sense now. And then there's also the coffee chain. You got this scratch and post with their unholy amount of cats. And also in there you got Larry the barista, or a caricature of him. Wait a minute, hang on. You got some overpriced coffee machines back there. A little storeroom for stuff up here. I remember a ladder to get up there, and I remember this little other detail I made, which was meant to look like a coffee bag had fallen up from there and spilled. That's what these round studs is supposed to be. So pretty interesting Mach overall. I really like the colors that I used, so I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 because I feel like there's some things I could have done better. And this other thing here is a city school set, and this one is actually one I really liked. I included 7 minifigures, 3 students, headmaster, chemistry teacher, bus driver, and a gym teacher. I thought this claw could represent a whistle, but there is no whistle mold, unfortunately. Then there's a little playground area, which I also had some fun designing, especially the slide. The back of the school, though, is also really fun to draw. You got a little gym area with a goal and a crate of balls and a basketball hoop, and the cafeteria, which has... That's supposed to be like those little paper milk cartons that kids bring. I do that all that time as a kid. And then you get these pizza slices, some full pizzas, hot dogs, and there's also some chocolate milks here, which I just took the original milk and colored it brown, and a few lunch trays. Then there's two classrooms up here. This first one's sort of a general classroom. You can use your imagination, and I used the lipsticks for the markers. And there's a chemistry, science classroom in here, which was also pretty fun to design, and giant sign which was supposed to say school. Now, this one's sort of a special case because this set actually aged surprisingly well. While we didn't get an actual school set like this, we did get one for Lego City with a school bus, but what was even better was we actually got, for Hidden Side, a school with a very, very similar color scheme to this, along with a school bus in another set that, while it was modified into basically that theme's version of the Ecto-1, it was easily modifiable into an actual school bus. So I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. I really love how well this aged, and it was also really fun for me to put together as a kid in the design program. And the last of my Lego City sets that I did was this little downtown set inspired by those sets that Lego does every year for City, where it's just a major district area. This one took inspiration from a lot of sets like the Bulldozer Break-In set, and also this hot dog stand was inspired by the one in a Ninjago movie set. This bus as well. I think I would always challenge myself to design something really difficult like buses, and that was always a fun challenge for me. A lot of these designs are inspired by city sets I had as a kid or built as a kid. Like, for example, the service station is inspired by the 2016 one, and this little car thingy, I don't know what it's called. It's also inspired by a City Square set from 2015. But the little apartment in this set is actually inspired by something I built as a kid a while ago. So I'm pretty proud of that, down to the thing up here. And the coffee mug, similar to the one in Bricksburg Clocks. And I got a bunch of vehicles here as well. Really proud of this. I think I built this around the time that we were getting named minifigures. So you got Duke Detain and Harl Hubbs, one of the crooks. I never really watched the Lego City Adventure show. I never really enjoyed it, but I'm also really proud of this one. So I'm gonna give this another 9 out of 10. Just because I don't think Lego would ever actually do something like this. Next up, here are some ones that, some more just obscure ones. They don't really fall into any certain theme. And this one is a model I made of the Mach 5 in the style of the Creator Expert cars. Man, this actually is one that I'm not super proud of. I feel like I could have done a lot better considering how sunken the hood is. I remember making this for my dad since he was a huge Speed Racer fan. But my big priority was including as many of the gadgets from the actual car as possible. Like, you got the jacks in here. That was a big challenge for me when I was first designing it. It was finding a way to integrate the jacks while still having the car be able to move. I think I managed to get 5 out of the 7 features included. So you got the infrared headlights, and you can store the other ones down here. The saw blades. And in the side of the doors, I put some pieces for the little periscope that they use, and there's also a little trunk for Spritle and Chim Chim to hide in. So, the jacks, the highlights, the saw, and the periscope. I also, under the hood, there was something inside the hood, I put a little bit of engine detailing, as you can see there. And I also included the homing robot which they used occasionally in the show. So I think that the only two features I couldn't include were the canopy that goes over the windshield and the grip tires. But overall, this is not a Mach that I'm really proud of, just because of how badly designed it is. So I'm only going to give this one a 5 out of 10. This other one was the only Star Wars Mach I did, the Slave 1 versus Twin Pod Cloud Car Microfighters. And the Cloud Car is a little bit simplistic. You just got identical pilot figures and 3 flick-fire missiles down here. And then there's Boba Fett's Slave 1, which, remember, one of the things I really wanted to do was make it so the wings could turn like they do in the films, and you also have 4 stud shooters up here. I remember this was really hard to get the shaping of. But surprisingly, this one actually also aged really well, because while we did not get a microfighter of the Cloud Car, we did get a microfighter of the Slave 1, which I kind of forgot I made it when it came out, but this one is still pretty cool. So I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. And finally, we have a Lego Minecraft set I made called the Riverside Stopover, which I believe was inspired by those little poly bags that Lego made for Minecraft. But you got Steve and a boat and a fish with like little 2 oars. I think I made this before they changed the way they design Minecraft boats in Lego. But you got a little piece of land with a torch, a bed, and some sugar cane. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. It's a fun little design, and I can definitely see Lego making something like this or something similar to this if they haven't already. I don't really follow Lego Minecraft sets that much. So that was it for reviewing my old Lego Mocs. Once again, thank you all so much for 200 subscribers, and thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!